Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Right, I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, but we are coming into this live activation and healing for empaths and heart-centered, sensitive souls because, well, firstly, the world needs it, and because there's so many of us. And we're so debilitated by the overwhelm of emotion that we take on. So I'm going to go into that all a little bit more in a minute, but I'm just going to give it a second for people to join live. Give it a minute because I know Facebook just takes a moment. So if you do jump on live, say hi, let me know how you're doing. I would really love it if you would let me know that you can hear me and see me okay. And also, if you're watching the replay, I want you to say hi. I want you to let me know that you're watching. And I'm going to be asking for some collaboration as we go through, just with how you feel about things and whether you resonate with things and whether you're picking up what I'm putting down, essentially. So, right. Here we go. So what is it that we're doing? Quantum healing and also protection, right? But protection in the way of not closed off protection, which a lot of empaths end up and heart-centered people end up with, this kind of blocked protection. But we're going to be navigating these higher realms of protection that enable this to and fro of giving and receiving and expansion, right? So, firstly, let's dive into what are the traits of an empath. How do you identify if you're an empath or not, or if you're a heart-centered, sensitive soul, right? I mean, you'll just know. You'll be watching this for starters. But you identify with being emotional, compassionate. You feel very deeply on a personal level, but also in the world, right? You feel very deeply for the things that are going on in the collective. You take on a lot of the collective sensitivities. So, for instance, if there's a lot of fear within the collective, you can resonate and you can feel that. If there's a lot of kind of sadness in the collective, again, you resonate and you feel that, right? You often, we work in supporting others, whether it be healers, nurses, coaches, doctors, teachers, light workers. A lot of sensitive mothers are technically, empaths. But this open-heartedness, this openness to kind of just taking on and absorbing energy from the field and from others really impacts us, right? And the way that it impacts us and the way that that shows up is through feeling overwhelmed, depleted, exhausted. You may always sleep badly. You may have many triggers, right? Triggers that emotionally kind of send you either into sadness, anxiety, fear, triggers that send you into anger. That was a big one for me. Just you feel a lot in the body. And often empaths feel as though they have many blocks, right? Blocks to getting to where they want to get to, blocks in mindset, blocks in not being able to take action, procrastinating, getting caught in loops of the same things, right? And often meaning that we don't have the energy to support our own thriving in life, right? We're kind of taking on other people's energy, which is depleting our own life force energy, which is lowering the frequency and the vibration. Because remember, we're all energy, we're all frequency, we're all quantum divine beings that I love. And when we take on, because what we're taking on generally isn't the highest frequency of energy, we're taking on energy that is denser. Hi. Yes. Oh, that's you today. Oh, no. Welcome. Thank you for being live, my darling. I haven't seen you for a long time. I hope you're well. Well, hopefully, this is going to support you. So where was I? Yeah, we're taking on often a lot of dense energy. We're taking on the lower frequency emotions, and so that is in general like watering down our own frequency. It's bringing our frequency down. So often we end up with low self-esteem, low self-worth, comparison, judgment of self. We put others first all the time, right? There's often, if there's motherhood involved, there's this martyrdom, which then ends in frustration and anger, right? This inability to receive, but often giving ends up triggering us into this annoyance, into this anger, into these people that we actually aren't, right? We are, by everybody's very nature, as a human, as a soul in human form, we are loving, compassionate people, right? First and foremost. And especially if we're empathic, because we have this deep connection to the heart and deep connection to our energetic abilities, really, we even have even more compassion, we have even more love, right? And so when we're triggered into frustration, when we're triggered into anger, when we're triggered into the judgment of others and ourselves, then we can become really critical and self-loathing, right? We can really kind of chastise ourselves. We can really come into the mental realm and really start having a go at ourselves for being this way, right? And because deep inside, deep in our soul, we know what we're made for. We know the greatness of our being. We can feel the expansiveness of who we truly are in our hearts, right? And this isn't just empaths. All humans are expansive in their soul. All humans are connected to source, are fractals of source. All humans are divine intelligent beings, right? Even the ones that seem to be very dark, or seem to be like, they're in their essence, there is light. Yeah, it may be overcrowded with dark, but there is light. And at their very core, at our very core, at our highest frequency, we are source. And so when we can feel within ourselves, we have this potential, that we have this love to give, that we know that life should be different, but we're not sure why it isn't. Instead of like blaming the world, we often blame ourselves. We turn that gaze inwards and we start to self-criticize. We start to compare ourselves, right? So can you see, I mean, firstly, can you resonate with feeling these ways? Which ones particularly resonate with you? But not only that, if you're watching the replay as well, I really would like to know, right? And also expressing it, putting it out there in the world means you're claiming it, means you're owning it, right? You're seeing it, you're witnessing yourself, you're having compassion for self. And then in a moment when we go into what I'm really excited to share, which is the quantum healing, it's at the surface, right? And it can shift. So which of these ways of being feel really resonant to you? And how do you personally connect with being an empath or a heart-centered being? How does it show up for you? And of course, there are also going to be immensely beautiful ways that it shows up, right? But I know a lot of empaths, a lot of my clients, in fact, all of my clients would connect with being an empath. I'm an empath at heart. I know that the way that the world is at the moment and everything that's being kind of shook up and brought to the surface is very triggering for the emotionals, right? So why am I doing this? Why are we even talking about this? I want to talk about this because everything that I've just described to you is exactly who I was. Exactly who I was, right? And now I'm still an empath, right? But I'm an empath who stands in her power. I'm an empath who owns her empathic nature, doesn't kind of feel burdened by it. I make it work for me, right? I allow myself to tune into all of the highest elements of being an empath, and I have let go of, I've dissolved, I've healed, I've no, I no longer associate with the elements of the empath that many people still hold on to, that many people still identify with, the list that I've just gone through, you know, and that many people still suffer with. And the reason that I wanted to share this is because you don't have to identify in that way anymore. You don't have to take on other people's emotions, right? It doesn't make you a bad person to not take on other people's emotions. It doesn't make you unworthy to not take on other people's emotions. You know, it doesn't make you less than. It doesn't mean that you're not a healer. It doesn't mean that you're not supportive. It doesn't mean that you're selfish. What it means is that you're sovereign in your energy. And it also means that you can actually support people and help people in your highest, in your highest light, in your highest abundance, with the most amount of love that you have able to give. Because when we're depleted, when we're exhausted, when we're kind of trapped in these loops of like being weighed down by other people's frequency and not fully being able to own who we are and what we've come here to do, then are we able to really fully give from the highest place? Are we even giving to our highest capacity? Are we even supporting to our highest capacity? Are we even healing if we're healers? Are we even doing, you know, our soul mission job properly? And the answer is no, because we're so weighed down by everything else that comes from other people, right? Now, how do you get from one to the other? Like for me, I'll go into a short, I hope it'll be short, story about what my journey was, right? Because my own transformation in this is what has inspired me to support others, and you know, I have supported countless women in this up to this point and continue to do so. And it's my greatest, I was gonna say my greatest love. Well, it is my greatest love, but it's my, you know, it's my purpose. And often what we've been through and what's been our greatest challenge and what's been our greatest lesson and what's taken us the longest to get through, because we've had to go really deep into figuring it all out, and we've come out with just this wealth of knowledge. That's what our purpose is. And so this is part of my purpose. So I'm going to tell you a story about me, right? I was always sensitive as a child. Always. I'm an only child, which meant that I spent a lot of time on my own, and I spent a lot of time tuned into my inner self, tuned into my emotions, tuned into the inner realms, my imagination, right? The quantum realms, let's say. I was in my own world, right? And I felt very deeply. And this is part of the gift, yeah? With every kind of like negative aspect, there's always a gift. And you know, yeah, okay, we can become too emotional, we can become too, it's a spectrum, like with everything. It's everything's a spectrum. And the gift was that I was able to play in the quantum and really feel the quantum realms, really feel into my imagination. And I would sit for hours and daydream and close my eyes and just be and play with the colors in within the inner realm, and I could feel it all. And I was very good at manifesting. I was very good at being a quantum being, essentially, right? Which we all are in our very nature. But you know, my parents weren't like that. Yeah. My parents weren't like that. They were very emotionally stunted and unaware. They came from very hard lives, you know, ancestrally. They both aren't from the UK. They emigrated here for a better life. They came from poverty. They both came from backgrounds of war and fear. And a lot of, you know, in their generations, from where they came from, they're from Cyprus and they're from Spain, you know, children weren't seen or heard. Emotions weren't talked about. There was, you know, a history of um, abuse within the family, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Like they brought a lot to the table, right? And, in bringing that a lot, I, I somewhere down the line agreed to take a lot of their burden. It was either a soul contract or somewhere unconsciously I agreed to it, right? And so what I did, I've only really realized this in the last kind of, 6, 7 years of my understanding of who I am, right? And why I am the way that I am. And it's formed part of my healing to really understand that I just took their pain. If they were stressed, I'd take their stress. If I were anxious, I'd take their anxiousness. And it wasn't anything I was doing. It was just energetically, it was like I was just plugged into them and it would just come. And I would, because I was unconsciously doing it, and because it was part of my journey to learn how now to do it properly, I wasn't processing. I wasn't clearing. I was holding in my body. And that's one of the big problems with empaths is that it's not about the taking, it's about the conscious taking, and then about the conscious shifting and the conscious dissolving and the conscious letting go of whatever it is that you're supporting somebody with, right? Because when we take and we support and we heal for others, but then we just store it in our body, like, can you just imagine, like, we've got our own stuff that we're dealing with. Yeah, we're going to take someone's anxiety, someone's pain, someone's hurt, someone's trauma, someone's fear, someone's scarcity, someone's lack, and it just layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. And we have yes, we have an infinite quantum field of abundance that we can expand into, but most of us aren't doing that until later. We are going to be doing that, like consciously we don't know how to do that. So what happens is the nervous system gets whacked. We become overburdened. And so, I was unconsciously taking on everything. I was taking on their insecurities. I was taking on their lack of self-worth. I was taking on all of their anxieties. I was taking on all of their scarcity wounds. I was taking on all of these triggered fears around not feeling safe in the world because they came from war, right? So many, so many, so many layers, right? And I just really I was just lovingly supporting them unconsciously. But then it got to the point when I just became so overburdened that I just blocked off. I blocked off my heart. I blocked off my abilities. I blocked off and this is what happens a lot with empaths, is the blocking off, the shutting off of, and the shutting down of that connection to who you are in the quantum, to your soul. We shut off. And so not only did I block off my connection, I then just became really freaking angry, really resentful, right? I became really overburdened with their shit. And so like I was so anxious. I was anxious from like 6, maybe even younger. I was very anxious. I developed a lot of OCD. And when I was first working on my healing game, I was like, oh, I was just so traumatized by the way my parents treated me. I mean, actually, now that I know more, I'm like, no, I just had their anxiety, and I was switching light switches on and off 5 times or 6 times, whatever it was, in order to feel safe enough to go to sleep. There was these OCD tendencies. I also, as I got older, realized I had the symptoms of being ADHD because of everything, right? And because of the trauma of it, right? That's essentially ADHD is the brain's inability to lock into, having a instinct and then taking the action because of trauma. And then also the kind of 100 miles an hour because we're just traumatized up here, right? So yeah, I got frustrated. I got angry. I blocked off. My relationship towards them became very sour. It was awful, right? I felt very alone as well my entire life. And empaths often feel very alone. We often feel as though no one understands us. We often feel that other people, we don't fit in some ways in the world, right? And yeah, there was this real deep loneliness as well. So as I grew, I hardened, I blocked my heart, I felt very unworthy, very less than. And it was only when I started to find my spiritual self again that I started to unpick some of these things. But what happened was I began to get trapped in a healing loop. I began to get trapped in like needing to heal everything, needing to dive into everything, which I needed to do for my journey, and a lot of people do need to do for their particular journey, right? Truth is, we don't need to do that. We don't need to dive into and feel the trauma, relive the pain, right? And a lot of my work as a healer in the early days was around helping people heal the inner child, was around really going into and finding where those traumas were in the body and energetically shifting them and feeling them and shifting them. But in the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's my work shifted into a much more kind of higher, it's a higher octave. We're in the quantum. And you'll see in a moment, we don't need to go into why. We don't need to find the stories of why, right? The reason that that's shifting and that we can do that now is because our resonance as a collective has shifted, right? We are no longer resonating collectively in those lower and middle realms of why, of the pain, of the victimhood, of just all of those denser emotions. We're actually shifting up into a higher frequency. We're coming into the 4D, 5D dimensional elements of living, so that we are now more able to connect with the quantum and just shift, right? But I became very caught up in healing loops, and a lot of people I work with are caught up in these loops where you feel like you've healed something and then it comes back. You feel like you've healed something and it comes back, right? And you're just like, I thought I healed that mother wound. I thought I healed that father wound. I thought I healed that scarcity wound, right? And so even though I was healing, I was still frustrated. Even though I was healing, I was just so deeply attached still to wounds, to my wounds. I would snap very quickly. My nervous system was completely fried, right? Because I was just holding on to so much. And I was a new mother at the time when it was really at its height. And I had just one son at the time. He was 2. And I would really just lose it. I was unable, I didn't have the capacity in my body, in my nervous system, in my emotions to hold him. And 2 years old is when they feel all the freaking feels. It's when they are really starting to be like, I am this and I want to do this, and then just cry and tantrum for no reason. And I couldn't hold it. And so I would snap and I would shout, and then I would feel this immense shame. So much shame. And then I would criticize myself. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, the loop would begin. It would just get trapped in that loop again of I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, right? It's hard. It's a lot, and it's a really vicious cycle. And it's a cycle that many, many people are trapped in. Hello, Rhonda. I'm just seeing comments move really slowly. So welcome. Let me know if this is resonating. Let me know if you felt this way. If you really feel like sharing, please share. This is a safe space to share. If you have any questions about your own personal situation around this, then please feel free to ask before we go into the quantum healing in a moment. So, I worked in the television industry, and so I was deemed as this like, you have to be confident to work in TV. To be a director in TV, you have to be confident, you have to be outspoken. So I masked all of this trauma and all of this pain very well, all of this unworthiness very well. Like, so people would look at me and not even realize that this is the type of person I was, wouldn't even realize that I was an empath, because at this point I was just completely closed off. But my higher soul self always had my back, right? Always allowed me to, to thrive in my life. quite frankly. I've been very, very lucky. I've led myself to this point where, you know, it was my journey. I was supposed to go on that journey because now I can support others. Now I can really pinpoint and speak to things that others are really feeling, others are, you know, really moving through. Another thing we have in common, I know, TV. Oh my gosh, that feels like that's a completely different realm for me. A completely different realm for me now. Um, are you still in it, my love? I think you probably are. Um, and are you still living where you moved to when we worked together? I think you also still are, which is really exciting. Anyway, we're digressing. Um, you know, your highest soul self is always leading you, always has wisdom for you, always has your back, right? And I needed to go through that process and really understand and shift into who I truly am in order to ignite that true soul purpose, right? And the way that I've done, the way that we can do that, and the way that you can do that, and the way that I've done that is through letting go of all of the buildup that we have taken on as empaths. Because if your system, your energetic system is overloaded with other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, scarcity, wounds, you know, traumas, if your system, and often we attach meaning to these things and think it's us. It's like, oh, I'm an anxious person. I'm not an anxious person. I was never meant to be. I wasn't an anxious person. I took on that. Oh, I'm a depressed person. I've always been. And my mum always say, you were such a happy soul. I've always been a happy soul. I took on that density. I took on that depression. You know, like a lot of our identities when we are empaths, negative identities aren't ours. Yeah, we've taken that on and we've claimed them because we've literally stored that energy in our body and we've identified with it and we've attached to it, right? So when we've done that, where is the space for our truest, highest self to come through? It's very difficult for us to allow our own divine, intelligent life force energy to overflow when there's such heaviness and density in our fields, right? And so when I started to fully heal, right, bit by bit, and all the healing I did worked towards it, right? And slowly then I was able to bring in more of my own life force energy, more of my own highest intelligence of my soul. And then more of it came online. And the more I cleared, the more came online, the more came online. And now I'm at the point where, you know, I can be in very emotionally charged situations and I no longer take it on at all, right? And for me, that's huge, especially when it's to do with my parents. And my dad went through a huge thing this year where he nearly passed away, and it was a real massive teaching to me, and how I dealt with it and how I was able to hold my family, my business. Before, if anything huge emotionally happened to me, and especially when it was like connected with my parents and then would then put upon me to be their savior, to be the person that saves them, I would just crumble because I just didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the nervous system energy. I didn't have the physical capacity in my body to do anything else but focus on them and give them what they needed, right? And so I was able to hold my family. I was able to continue building and thriving in my business. And I was able to support them. And, you know, I was amazed. I had to reflect upon that recently. In fact, yesterday, because my dad was taken into hospital again. And I mean, the poor NHS. He was being, you know, he was admitted into hospital and then he didn't have a bed and he basically nearly had to sleep in a chair in a waiting room, and he's 83 years old and he's unwell. I was just like, my brain, and he wasn't, you know, he's not in the same city as me. There wasn't much I could do. I could feel, I could feel the triggers, right? I could feel the emotions. And I was able to take a step away and I was able to witness and I was able to hold and I was able to take action and I was able to support him I was able to give him love. I was able to do the physical things that I needed to do to get him out of that situation. And I was able to stay centered, and I was able to hold it. And that's why today I was like, this is what I'm going to do today. Because it just reminded me. And I was like, right, there are so many people that would benefit from this. And so that's why I'm here speaking to you today, right? Because it made me truly realize the transformation that I've made. And I would never usually shout it from the rooftops. It was never, I was always too like, oh, it's whatever. But my God, to be able to come from a place where I was anxious, I was depressed, I was overwhelmed, I wasn't sleeping, I took on everyone's emotions, I was angry, I was triggered, I was a martyr, all those things, to now be where I'm at, where I feel so light and I feel so free and I feel so sovereign in my energy and I feel as though I am abundant with love. I feel so connected. I feel as though I recognize triggers, but I don't get swayed into them. I no longer, attached to stories. I no longer attach meaning to things. Like, to me, that's priceless. And if I can give anybody that, like, it means the world to me, right? So, and if I can give anybody that without them having to go through years of healing, years of diving back into trauma, then I will do my best to give you that, right? And so that's why we're here today. So let me just let's see where we're at. I'm feeling a bit fed up today. I know it's where I'm at in cycle, of course, yeah. And really procrastinate today. What's your advice with overcoming procrastination? So procrastination, because I really struggled with procrastination. And there's so many layers underneath why we struggle with procrastination, right? And the best bit of advice that I could give you is to actually connect to the highest energy of why you would want to be doing this thing that you're procrastinating on. Not making it about you and why you're not doing something, not making it about you, your human self, yeah, and why you should be doing it, but connecting up to your highest soul self and allowing them to abundantly fill you with why you should be doing it. I think that is probably, without going into deeper layers of things, is probably the easiest, most proficient thing that you can do. Let me know how that lands. I feel I've been quite affected by the energy of world events. Yeah, I mean, me too. If you've watched my videos in this group, you will see that I also have. I tuned out of and stopped watching the news a few years ago, but I'm mindful about what I expose to myself to as an empath. Yes. And often we feel as empaths, so we split two ways, right? We either go into the camp of feeling as though we're spiritually bypassing and just like loving and lighting and not wanting to deal with shit, right? Which isn't great. But doesn't mean that we have to then go into the other camp, which is just taking on all of the energy, all of the pain, all of the despair, and allowing it to impact our life. Because I think as empaths as well, there is this belief of, well, in order to lessen someone's suffering, I have to suffer. I know that was one of my ingrained conditionings, right? In order to lessen their pain, I have to suffer, which isn't true, right? What's going on in the world is horrific. Us suffering isn't going to change other people's suffering. Us loving and lighting in a very detached, not the right way is also not going to support them, right? Us detaching in that way is not going to support them. What is supportive is recognizing that we can go into the quantum and we can actually, and I did, if anyone's interested, there's a video in this group where I did this and I guided people through this. You send quantum light and love and abundance, which isn't money, abundance of everything, into the earth's grids, and you send it to the souls that are suffering, right? And when we feel like we can't do anything, because we can't physically do anything, I'm not about to fly to the Middle East, and there are people that are doing that, and they're fucking heroes, but I'm not about to fly to the Middle East and be on the ground and help. I can't do that. I can donate, sure. Where does that money go? We're not sure. But what I know that I can do, that I do know makes a difference. And if the billions of people on the planet all at the same time went into their hearts, connected to the quantum frequency of love within their hearts, and sent that love to that portion of the Middle East, something would shift. I know that without a doubt. And so what we can do is really understand our gifts as empaths. It's really understand the power of the quantum, and doing it from a real sovereign place of strength, and not a place of fear, and not a place of reaction. I've been sending energy to the people suffering and focusing on unity, and yes, exactly, you're doing exactly the right things. So yeah, thank you for your questions. So and I'm really glad that advice helps. Yeah, because when we procrastinate, we've lost sight of the real reason why we want to do something, and what we've done is we've got stuck in the stories. We've got stuck in the stories of why we're not good enough, or how it's not really going to work anyway, or how we're unworthy, or comparison, or judgment, or criticism, right? And so let's just bypass all of that. Great, thank you, human. Thank you, ego. Thank you, hurt, traumatized inner child that's sending those messages. But let's just go up and connect with our highest soul self, and reconnect with our purpose and why we want to be doing the thing in the first place. I sometimes get overwhelmed how much I need to do it, maybe. I'm not sure what that means, Tanya. Maybe rewrite that bit. Okay, so right, who is ready to go into the quantum activation? So if you're watching the replay as well, I would really love you at this point just to, more for you to get your energy in the right kind of space, just to write what you've connected to in when I've been speaking, and how I've been speaking about empathic, our empathic nature, and really what you're ready to surrender, what you're ready to let go of, and also write it if you're watching now. What are you ready to surrender? What are you ready to let go of? I'll give you a minute to do that. What are you no longer going to be available for? And what are you going to claim as an empowered empath? What are you going to claim as an empowered empath? Sometimes get overwhelmed by how much I need to do. Again, connect, right? Because otherwise you're just you're playing in the realms of, am I doing enough? Scarcity, lack. Am I not a good enough person by not doing enough? The unworthiness, the criticism, the self-judgment. Like, what you are able to do is what you are able to do. The time you can give it is the time you can give it, right? But again, connect to soul self, connect to your highest soul self, and communicate from there, and find out from that space. It's my answer to everything. And really, the more that we clear out our nervous systems, the more that we clear out our energetic systems, our light bodies, our physical bodies from the density of other people's stuff, the more that we're able to connect, the cleaner and clearer that connection is going to be. And I have definitely found that, and everybody that's gone through my mentorship, my sovereign frequency mentorship, has found that, right? Is that like when you start to release on a real deep quantum level, you make so much space. You make space in your nervous system and you can hold so much more, but you make space to connect and so much more can flow through, right? And also in the quantum, which we are going to be doing, is we're going to activate light. You're a light being. You're an energetic being. Light is just intelligence, and not intelligence in a rational sense. It's quantum intelligence, right? It's light codes. It's coding, like coding in a computer, but it's like light coding. And so the more that you can make space within your light body and your physical body, within your atoms, which are all light, first and foremost, the more light you can bring in, the more quantum intelligence you're bringing in. And the more quantum intelligence you're bringing in, the more connection you have to the quantum, the more expansive you are, the more that you can shift into higher realms, the more that you can shift into different dimensionalities, the more that you can pull wisdom from what seems like nowhere, right? That's the light quota that you hold in your body. And our light quota is low when we have been bombarded by other people's stuff. So unless there are any other questions, and if you're saying what you want to let go of and what you actually want to activate as an empowered empath, and I'll just give another minute for that, but just making yourselves start to get comfortable. And if you've never done a quantum and like healing with me before, what we've just done, what we've just spoken about, the way I've just spoken about things, has basically, the reason that I do that, the reason that I engage your brain into understanding things first and recognizing things and connecting with how that relates to you and what you're aware of and maybe things you're not aware of. So the brain comes online and the brain comes on board. So the actual physical energetic activations and healings are much more powerful. They're much deeper. And so there's nothing that you need to do. Just lie back, relax. If you go to sleep, it's because you're... So what's happening in these activations is that we're going to be bringing online your highest soul selves, your highest soul family, your highest tribe, you know, your highest spirit guides and tribe and quantum family, right? Because we are not, it's not just us, by the way, moving us through this life. And so they are going to be supporting this activation. I'm not coming in and activating anything for you, by the way. I don't come in and heal anybody. That's not my job. That is not part of my remit as a sovereign, someone that truly believes in sovereignty. It's not for me. And that's shifted in my healing career, right? Because right at the beginning, when we were really entrenched in the 3D way of being, it was like, I come in and I'm the healer, Reiki healing, all that shit. No, I come in and I support your body to allow your highest selves, quantum family to come in and activate with you, right? Which is much more empowering. And also in the in my mentorship, I teach you how to do that so that you go forth and you do that. You don't need anybody else to be your healer. You don't need anybody else to be your quantum activator, right? We all have access to the quantum. We've forgotten. Various people have different things online at various different times, but it's all within you. So yeah, that's the way it's going to work. If you end up falling asleep, sometimes people go into sleep. It's because the rational part of you needs to be switched off in order for certain things to happen. And if you do find that you've fallen asleep, I recommend that you listen to this part of it again. Listen to this activation again, and hopefully you'll be awake next time. And it's just different layers of activation. I always listen to, you know, my own mentors' activations more than once anyway, because I just find it's just layers, isn't it? It's layers. We're not going to be going into the depths of trauma and the depths of pain and family stuff within this activation. There is no need. We're going to be we're going to be activating a column of connection between your highest source as well and the grids of Mother Earth. We're going to be stabilizing you within those fields. We're going to be activating your heart, and we're going to be speaking to your energy in the quantum. And we're going to, yeah, that's the way it works. I can't put any more words to it. There's no point. Just experience it. Okay, right, let's do this then. So start by closing down the eyes, getting comfortable. And begin taking deep breaths into the body intentionally, slowly. Breathing into the heart space. And as you exhale, just slowing everything down in the body, slowing down the mind, the heartbeat, the breath, and just feeling your overall energetic frequency just relaxing. And we're just going to let the mind know how grateful we are for its participation in our daily lives, how much it supports us, how much we value its ability to problem solve and its ability to keep us safe. And right now it deserves a break. And we're just going to ask it just to step to one side. Doesn't need to go anywhere. We're not abandoning it. We're not pushing it away. We're not forcing it out. We just want it to just take a moment. It deserves a break. And it can bear witness to its counterpart, its loyal friend, the heart, coming online. The mind can always take a breath and take a moment and allow the heart to share in its duties and come online. So breathing into the heart space. And as you breathe into the heart space, knowing that you are activating your heart. With each breath, more energy is activating your heart portal, the most powerful energetic center within your physical sacred body. With each breath and with each exhale, more and more of your heart's intelligence comes online. And just allowing the heart portal to open now. And just seeing it, witnessing it opening. And as it opens, within it, feeling, seeing the energy of the grand central sun. Because your heart is the portal to the universe. You hold everything of the universe within your field. So as your heart opens, it begins activating through the light of the grand central sun, the center of the universe. And just allowing your heart to open, you may feel it now. Widening, opening, releasing, expanding. You may feel even a tightness, a heaviness. Just allow what needs to be to be. No judgment, no right or wrong. And as it activates and opens and comes online through the energy, through the frequency of the light from the grand central sun, your heart begins to light up powerfully, beautifully, radiantly, bringing itself fully online. And as it begins to radiate this golden light, drawing that golden light energy down into the sacral, the womb space, the energetic womb space. And just allowing that portal to activate, that portal to open, to come online. And drawing the energy down even further into the root, down to the base of the spine, And as that golden light reaches the portal of the root, it begins to open, it begins to activate. And as your root activates, you're able to draw the energy from your heart down out of the body and down into the Earth Star Chakra portal, the portal that is your divine entrance into the Earth's grids, into the soul and the energy of Mother Earth, of Mother Gaia. So as your golden light activates the Earth Star energy point, it begins to open and it begins to expand, and you are able to connect with, through your column of light, to the Earth's grids, drawing that energy down into now the oceanic plasma grids, the water grids of the planet, Mother Gaia's oceans, activating, connecting with that frequency, allowing the energy to dive deeper into to the bottom of the oceans, and now moving down into the physical Earth's grids, the realms of the elementals, the crystal realms, making its way down, your energy making its way down into the core of Mother Earth, into the heart and the womb of Mother Earth. She opens to receive you, as always, as she always will, as the divine mother that she is. And we, her children, she opens to receive. And as she opens, you can plug in your energy cord, that column of light, now able to draw the nurturing, loving, safe energy from the Divine Mother, from Gaia, all the way back up into your body, drawing that energy with each and every breath up into the root, all the way back up into the heart. And feeling your heartbeat now, feeling the resonance of your heart beating, and taking your awareness down into the heart of Mother Gaia and feeling her heart beating, and allowing the two to come into harmony. You are of the earth. You are a divine child of the highest consciousness of Mother Gaia. She is always there to support you, love you, feed you with nurturing love and energy, support you, hold you, bringing your awareness back into your heart, and then allowing that column of light now to draw up into the throat, activating the throat chakra. We're activating all of the portals, the energy portals within the body, bringing your entire physical being online now. Allowing the throat to open, to activate. You may feel the energy within your throat. Drawing that light, that column of light now from the heart all the way up to the third eye, activating your vision, your quantum vision. With each breath, more and more of that heart light entering the third eye. Activating the third eye, opening the third eye, activating your quantum vision, your quantum connection. And then bringing that column of light all the way up to the crown of the head and opening and activating the light held within your crown, opening that energy portal and allowing your column of light to move up into the quantum realms to meet your highest self portal, allowing that column of light to activate your highest self portal. And as it activates, as it comes online, intentionally connecting with your highest self, your highest selves across all timelines, across all dimensions, your highest soul self, and asking for support, connection, asking them to play in the quantum with you now to help support this activation and healing. And then drawing your energy all the way now up into the next portal, the portal of your soul family, your soul mission portal and your soul family portal, bringing online all of your quantum soul family of the highest beings of light from all dimensions of the higher realms, your soul family, your spirit guides, the ancestors of your highest. And again, asking them for their support, their contribution, their love, and asking them to help you as you play in the realms of the quantum to activate and support healing for your empathic self. And then lastly, drawing that column of light all the way up and meeting with Source. And as your energy meets with Source, with all that is, a beautiful golden shower of the most potent, vibrant, high frequency golden light begins to pour down over you and into your heart space, activating your heart even more, bringing on more of your heart's intelligence. And again, your heart is the most intelligent and powerful energetic center in your physical sacred body. And just breathing into the heart now and activating the heart even more now that you are connected above and below. You are in harmony with Source, the highest Father God Source energy, and the highest Mother Gaia, Mother God Source energy. And within you, they come into harmony. They come into unity. Activating unity consciousness now from the heart space. Bringing online more of your highest soul self. More of your remembrance of the truth of who you are. And ask your heart's intelligence now to locate all fractals of energy within your body and within your light body and within your field, all fractals of energy that aren't yours. Everything that you have drawn from others, from the collective, from family members, all emotions, all ways of being, all conditionings. Just allow your heart's intelligence to light up the places that energy is held within the body. And you may see this, you may feel this, you may not at all, but just trust that it's all happening within the quantum. And as it's located, it's just brought to the surface. And as it's brought to the surface, it activates your heart into sending those fractals of energy, the highest crystalline light of healing. And as your heart beams out, radiates out these lasers of crystalline light into all areas, all fractals within the body, within the light body, within the physical body that you are holding, somebody else's density, somebody else's emotions that you have claimed as yours, experiences that you have claimed as yours, anxieties. Everything that isn't yours is now being dissolved and transmuted and upgraded into the highest light frequency. It's upgraded and dissolved and transmuted into the highest crystalline light. These lasers just locating and finding all these areas, all these fractals in the body, stored over this lifetime and other lifetimes, stored in your physical body, stored in your light body, stored in your quantum field. The heart lasering them and creating more light, more crystalline light from them, returning them back to their original source light, and then allowing them to return to your body, to your field, transmuted into the highest light now. Now asking your body and commanding your body to locate any programs, any codings, any vows, any beliefs, any contracts that you have created in this life or other lifetimes in other dimensions, where you've believed that you have had to heal others, that you have had to use your energy to heal others, where if you didn't heal others, you are not a good person. If you didn't heal others, something bad would happen. All contracts, all vows, all programs, all to be located now in the field. And once again, the heart activating and sending laser crystalline light into the fractals of energy where these contracts, programs, beliefs, codings are all held, and dissolving them and upgrading them, transmuting them into the highest frequency of crystalline light now. And just dissolving anything, any density into the highest frequency light, making more space in the body, making more space in your field, making more space in the quantum for you to play, for you to bring in more of your own highest soul self light. And connecting now to the realm of the mind, and just trusting that all of these activations are occurring in the background. If they need to continue within the body right now, they are continuing, but bringing your awareness and your attention into the realm of the mind and allowing the mind to bring to the surface all thoughts, all anxieties, all programs and codings of the mind that aren't yours, that are creating anxiety, that are creating overwhelm, that are creating the mind to race, all comparison, all judgment, all criticizing, all of that coming online now, bringing it to the surface, seeing it, witnessing it, loving it, not judging it, not ruling it right or wrong, sending it forgiveness and sending it the highest frequency light from the heart now, those lasers of crystalline light pouring into each and every fractal of the mind, each and every area of the mind that holds any density that isn't true to your highest soul nature. It's almost like blitzing it into the highest frequency crystalline light, making more space, soothing, relaxing, calming the mind, bringing the mind peace, letting go of stories, letting go of attachments, letting go of victimization in the mind. And as that is occurring, the whole realm of the mind lights up this beautiful crystalline, almost neon blue crystalline light, bringing all neural pathways online, connecting more parts of your mind into the highest realms, bringing online the highest frequency of your personal computer that is the brain. Allowing you to be rational and able to critically think without the burdens of those lower realm frequencies of comparison, of judgment, of attaching to stories. The mind now is a clean and clear realm of productivity. The master of the mental realm, ready to serve the powerful portal of the heart and come into union with the powerful portal of the heart within your sacred divine human body. As the heart, bring your attention back into the heart space now. Oh no, sorry, actually come back into the mind, being drawn back into the mind, into the base of the mind, the base of the skull, as at the pituitary gland, at the hypothalamus, the connection, the beginning of the nervous system as it moves all the way down the spine, that crystalline light now flooding the nervous system, bringing the entirety of the nervous system online. And as it does so, it makes space within the spinal column, makes space within the energetic system, allowing all density, allowing all layers of density to come to the surface and be dissolved by this crystalline light, making more space within the nervous system, giving you room to breathe, giving you spaciousness to just be, allowing stillness in the heart. Just allowing that to move through the nervous system, making spaciousness within the nervous system, connecting your heart space, the powerful portal of your heart, with your nervous system, allowing the heart to feed the nervous system with love, divine light of the highest, and divine abundance, bringing spaciousness into the nervous system now, and just allowing that to continue. And then we're going to be activating, just through the command, via the portal of the heart, all atoms and cells within the physical body, just bringing them all online now, lighting them up because they are fractals of light, bringing online and activating and lighting up all DNA strands, commanding the body to activate all areas of the body holding atoms, cells, and DNA now, bringing it all online. And as the heart pours its high frequency healing crystalline light into all cells, atoms, organs, DNA, and blood plasma now, it pours its highest crystalline light into all aspects of the physical body, all density, anything taken on from the ancestral realms, from past lifetimes, really deep coding within the physical body, within the DNA that's been passed down through lineages, is now being transmuted, dissolved, and crystalline, turned into crystalline light of the highest, allowing all DNA strands to start spinning in harmony, bringing extra strands online, bringing all coding online, bringing all of your unique, special light online within your physical body, embodied now within the body, the organs, the cells, the atoms, vibrating at their highest frequency, holding the highest crystalline light, the highest crystalline intelligence, abundant cells, abundant body, abundant fractals of light within your physical body now. Just allowing that to happen, allowing that to continue to happen. And coming back into the heart and asking the heart now to activate your highest organic soul blueprint, your highest aspects of the empath, of a highly sensitive, heart-centered soul, bringing through as your heart activates. It's actually creating a grid around you, like a frequency, not a fence that's blocking, but a grid of expansion all around you, all around your field, all around your physical body, and activating these higher aspects of empathy, of soul mission, of being heart-centered, bringing in the highest level of strength, compassion, love, the highest frequency of forgiveness now being poured into yourself, poured into your field, into your body, into your light field. And as this is happening, re-establishing an overflow of your own divine creative life force from within your heart, pouring out into your body, into your field, because it's through the heart that we create our reality. It's through our own heart that we manifest and experience our life. So bringing through that full overflow, that full abundant flow of life, of love, of light through your heart now. Activating your divine soul purpose. Activating the confidence to be fully seen, to be fully heard, to be fully witnessed as the truth of who you are. And as these new grids are being constructed through the intelligence of the heart, these grids around you, this new template for being an empath in this world is being constructed around you. It's providing a layer of protection, not protection that's blocking, but a layer of protection that allows for the perfect toing and froing, the perfect of giving and taking, the perfect amount of giving and receiving within your field, so that you are always in your highest state of abundance, energetically, through love, through wealth, through joy, in every aspect. Just giving it a moment for all of that quantum magic just to close out, knowing that this activation is going to continue to take place over the hours, over the day, potentially into tomorrow, maybe even over the next week or so, dependent on on everybody's unique case, right? Everyone's energetic system is different. So just knowing that this is going to continue, but giving immense gratitude and thanks to your highest self, your highest soul family, for this activation. Deep, immense love and gratitude for Mother Gaia, for Source and the creator of all that is, knowing that all of that is within you. All of that is within you. That's the true nature of who you are. And just breathing in and anchoring in this new, sensitive, loving, open-hearted, empathic version of you that's sovereign, that is able to be empathetic and supportive of others, but whilst also standing strongly in their own power, in their own unique sovereign light. And just taking some deep breaths now into the heart. And allowing yourself to come slowly back, wiggling the fingers and toes, wiggling your arms, your legs, and just slowly coming back into this dimension of reality. I could really feel that in my heart space. I would love to know how that is for you, how that was for you, what you experienced, how you feel. Also, if you're on the replay, also, letting me know if you're live as well. Any questions that you may have about what you've experienced or anything that may have come through for you. Drink lots of water. We are water, Water will allow our cells, our physical body to detox, our physical energy to detox. So drinking lots of water. You may find that you will sleep terribly tonight because your energy is really moving through. Before bed, maybe ask that that your unconscious processes as gently as possible as you sleep. Be aware that you may have some very vivid dreams as your unconscious processes. Be also aware that over the next few days, everything that we have kind of brought to the surface energetically, that we've been shifting energetically, is going to start to reverberate in the quantum, meaning that you're going to probably be faced with some of the stuff that we have cleared. Some of those old ways of being, some of those patterns, some of those triggers. You may find some of those empathic draws come back. People may be asking more of you. You may be triggered into frustration, whatever it may be. Be really gentle with yourself over the next couple of days. And when that happens, the best thing to do is just witness it, witness that, know that it's just the reverberation in the field. Yeah. Some people in the old school, like healing community, will be like, oh, it's a test from the universe to see how much you've shifted. That isn't true. No. Why would the highest light, why would the universe test you? That's a very low frequency. What it is, it's a reverberation in the quantum, which makes a lot more sense when we think about physics, right? Energy reverberations. It's been in your system a while. As it leaves, it's almost like the shadow reverberation still in your system as it leaves. So you may find that these old ways of being, these feelings, these triggers, these emotions, and even in may even be mirrored in your actual outer world. I've even had a message from somebody that I did some quantum work with yesterday, who was like, the thing that you said would happen is happening. I was like, yeah, it does happen. It's just the way it works. Don't attach to it. Don't attach meaning to it. Don't attach story to it. Don't be like, oh, here we go again. I knew it wouldn't work. Don't attach to it. Don't hook back into it. Send it love. Witness it. Thank it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you. I love you. Send it love. Be kind to yourself. Send yourself compassion. Give yourself rest. Know that this is going to be shifted. I mean, I just feel so much energy. Does anyone have any questions before we sign out? I would love to support you if you need that support. I know some of you are still online and you may have fallen asleep. Thank you so much for being here, for taking part, for asking the questions, for connecting. You completely zoned out. All good. No worries, my doll. That's okay. You didn't hear most of it. Remember what I said about sometimes the unconscious just allows that conscious part of you to switch off so that work can happen on a deeper level. It's super powerful. Thank you so much, my darling. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being honest. And thank you to everyone watching the replay. If you want to take this work deeper, I invite you to have a conversation with me about one-to-one mentorship, where we will deep dive into you, your quantum self, where you want to be, what your vision for your life is, what your soul's mission is, connecting back to that, clearing out the density within the field, and really bringing you online to who you are. And, in really tangible ways, this looks like letting go of anxieties, letting go of negative thinking, letting go of patterns, letting go of procrastination. I've supported people with ADHD symptoms. I've supported people with actually getting on and starting the business that they wanted to start, or getting on and expanding the business that they've got already and being able to create a passive income. One of my clients is now traveling the world with her passive income and homeschooling her son. Like, whatever it is that you have as a desire, that's a true desire, that's not come from a conditioning, that's not come from looking at the world and going, oh, I want that because I feel like I haven't got it and I need to have it. Like, I need the $1 million in my bank account. No, 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 no. What is it that your soul wants? What is it that you've come here to do? How is it you truly want to feel? Because you can have all of that. Are here to claim that, right? So the mentorship is about expanding you into a new level of awareness of what your potential is, a new level of awareness of really perspectives on where you're at and how you got to where you're at, but then also widening that as perspective and going, wow, I have so many options available to me. That's abundance. A lot of the work that I do is activating light in your field, therefore activating abundance in your field, and then you're able to see the abundance that you already have in your life. It's about manifesting through you your potential, not working with what's on the outside of you, not like doing all the doing in the outside of you. Yes, we have to take action, but it's aligned action. It's action that kind of speaks through you, not comes from outside of you and makes you do it from the outside, right? It's about witnessing how you can play within these quantum realms, teaching you how to play within the quantum realms, teaching you how to speak with your soul self and allowing them to come in and support your activations, your expansions, bringing more light in, bringing more love in, bringing more abundance in. So then you can actually witness it in your physical reality, because it all begins within the quantum. Everything you're experiencing outside of you is holographic. It's what we are projecting from inside out. It's all a mirror. And so if there are various things that you're not happy with, sometimes we feel out of control, that we can't do anything about it. And on a collective level, yes, that out of controlness is bigger. But on a personal level, there is no need to feel out of control, because everything, the control center, is within the intelligence of your heart, first and foremost. And we've been taught we don't want to control, don't control, it's obsessive, it's anxiety. That's control from this space. But control from this space is pure freedom. Control from this space, activating the heart, bringing online the intelligence of the heart, so that when you're faced with things in your life, you have the wisdom to know what to do in an instant. Like I said last night, I should have been triggered into all sorts of emotions. My dad was, in a real fucking bad place. Wisdom streams through, you take action, you know what to do, shit aligns, stuff happens. If you want to talk about what that would look like for you, there's no obligation to go further into the mentorship, but message me, DM me. You can always book a call with me. You can private message me. You can, if you can't find how to do that, then just message me in this group. I'm more than happy to speak with you about what that could potentially look like in your unique circumstance. But I'm here to support you into remembering who you are as a divine, intelligent quantum being, because it's so much more than what we've been led to believe. It's so much more than this flesh and blood. This sacred vessel is the flesh and blood of this sacred vessel is holding so much magic within the portal of the heart that gives us the ability to step into the quantum field. And that is where we shift and move things. That's when we bring in the business. That's when we bring in the partner. That's when we bring in the better relationships with people. That's when we bring in more confidence. That's when we let go of the unworthiness. That's where we let go of, the lack of confidence, or whatever, anything, literally anything. People are like, well, what do you work with? Anything. So anyway, if it speaks to you, you know where I am. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking part. Please do let me know what's come through for you. And I'm sending you the highest love, the deepest love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.